Hey you guys, this is part 2 of the video with the libertarian candidate on this channel, this debate. So yeah, this is part 2. Yeah, if you haven't watched part 1, please go check it out. Basically, to give the recap, this guy is arguing over minimum wage, and this libertarian candidate is very, very wrong. And alright guys, let's get into the video.
These localities raised it to $15 an hour, which turned out to be not a number that was very high in terms of what employers were willing to pay. Now, in most of these cases, most people were already making more than $15 an hour, of course. The number of people that were not yet making $15 an hour, most of them were immediately bumped up. It's my recollection that in most of the places where this happened, we're talking about relatively modest adjustments, right?
Big help.
Not only most
Wrong.
people making $15 an hour already, but relatively few people were making less than that. Most of those were making $12, $13, and $14 an hour. So this is a relatively modest adjustment. You wouldn't necessarily expect to see a whole lot of secondary effects, and you wouldn't necessarily expect to see a lot of increases in income either. So
This guy's clearly out of touch with reality. He's clearly trying to appeal to radicals. Yeah, he's way out of touch with reality.
I just don't think that, studies like this are helpful in the long run to answering this question. But let me...
I mean, it seems to
Because
me
it
like
disagrees with you, that's
the
why.
empirical research is the best
Yeah.
way. Because look,
Yeah, it's very true. They bring the facts. The facts disagree with you, pal. So yeah, so for what you don't know, I wouldn't be running on that. I'd be running on raising minimum wage, not trying to abolish it.
I studied economics in college as well, and I know what the economic textbooks say. What the economic textbooks say and what actually happens in the real world are sometimes, not always, but sometimes quite different. I mean, I'll
Very true. Extremely true. She hit that on the nail.
give you another one, right? If you open up the
Well, I'm
Econ
trying
101,
to agree with you that the
Look at him. He's talking over her because he knows that he's wrong.
research does not bear out the fact that there was a
huge
significant
job
loss
let me
of
let me ask
employment.
you
That's
kind
exactly
of
right.
a foundational, like, philosophical question that I'm just curious in your answer to. Do you think that you can be fully free if you are a person who is living in poverty, who's working?
Damn, that is amazing. That I've never heard that. That's so true. Are you fully free if you're living in poverty? You're not, because if you're living in poverty, you're not able to go out and do fun stuff like other people are. You're not able to have nice things in life. You're not able to go out and buy food easily and stuff. So, damn, she hit it right on the point. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I'm going to have to use that in some of my videos. Just amazing. That I've never heard that. That's just amazing.
Who's working one of those $7.25 and can't afford housing, and can't afford a family, and can't afford health care?
Yeah, like I just said, you can't afford healthcare, you can't afford housing, you can't afford to take care of your wife and kids, or woman and husband, whatever. Or it's just you can't afford a car. It's totally bogus. It's that she's making the fair point that it's not free, but it's totally bogus to say that not having minimum wage makes things better. It makes things worse. They could pass whatever they wanted. Back to the video, guys. Sorry about that.
Do you think that meets your definition of freedom?
And just before I get back into it, that it is not freedom if people are living in poverty and not able to have things that other people have. That's not freedom. That's just torture.
I don't think you can be fully free if we define freedom as being able to access everything you want if you're living in poverty.
Totally false. Listen, she's not saying, and people like me, we're not saying, and you should be able to access whatever you want. No, we're saying you should be able to access basic things. And if you can't access basic things, that's going against life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So if you can't be happy, and you can't pursue happiness, and you can't even have a normal life because of that, that's not freedom. I'm sorry, and this is coming from a libertarian who's very conservative and capitalist. So this guy has not got my vote in the libertarian primary. Alright, open. Back to the video, guys. Sorry.
In the same sense that I don't think that you can call yourself fully free if you define that as being able to do anything you want, but you're living in...
No, that is not true. Freedom is based on, as long as you can do whatever you want, as long as you're not forcing it on other people or harming other people, such as hurting them or any other sort, or stealing from them, harming other people, hurting other people or forcing your opinions on other people. That's freedom, doing what you want. So I'm just putting that out there.
In a world where you have some rules in place, right? If that's our definition of freedom, I don't think that's a very...
Something funny. This guy likes to smile a lot, and nothing's funny here. It's funny that you're an idiot, I guess.
useful. I don't think it's...
Or sorry, let's rephrase it. He's not an idiot. What he's running on is an idiot. He's being an idiot. I'm not saying he's an idiot. I don't like name calling.
It's frankly a very workable definition of freedom. I think that's injecting a word for the sake of using that particular word. Look, we all, and I certainly hope that at least the three of us and all of your listeners are on the same page in this regard. I find the persistence of intergenerational poverty in the United States to be absolutely disgusting. And
okay, yes, we all are on the same page as that, but abolishing minimum wage is not going to help poverty. It's only going to make poverty worse.
To how we want our economy to work. Having been a police officer for 11 and...
And of course, is that a box of Lucky Charms in that picture? I know that's a stupid question, but I noticed that in the background. Yeah, that's not important. All right, back to the thing.
...half years, I can tell you, if you weren't an economist before becoming a cop, being a cop will turn you into an economist because you see the effects of bad public policy up close and personal. You see the bad effects of bad zoning, bad...
This guy can just not stay on the topic. He just likes to, he's a politician, likes to run around it.
Housing policy of bad schools. You see the effects of the war on drugs. You see the effects of what is in effect the world's most oppressive criminal justice system. You see how we...
Okay, that's a little true. Even though he's not on topic, that is true. We do have a very terrible criminal justice system in this country. But yeah, but let's get back to the video. Let's finish this out.
Crush whole communities, not just families, not just individuals. These things matter. Do we want Americans to continue to be lifted out of poverty, hopefully at the same rate and even faster than we saw during the 20th century? Of course we do. I don't think that anyone should say, well, you don't agree with our objectives because you don't agree with our semantics or the words that we choose to use. There is a feeling of being crushed when you live in poverty, whether that is in a wealthy society like the United States, or whether it is in a relatively impoverished society like elsewhere around the world. So, that feeling matters, whether you attach to it, an absence of, what you call freedom, or you attach any other lingo to it. It is something that we need to earnestly engage and fight. So, I think that we all are looking for solutions to get people out of poverty. I have seen bad public policy make huge contributions to poverty in the United States, and that is what I believe that we need to eradicate. Similarly, I don't think that you can call yourself completely free if you're operating in a system of too many rules and regulations. But injecting the word freedom does not substantially change the nature of the argument. We want people to live their lives by their own standards and not be held back by artificial either rules or incentive structures that undermine their ability to earn a living.
Yeah, so I would just to wrap up here on the rules and regulations front. I guess the core disagreement, and that's fine. This happens. A lot of people disagree on this. In my opinion, the question is, what are the proper rules and regulations? Some make sense, some don't. There's a balance. We have to strike that balance. Some people will say if they're of a more libertarian persuasion, the fewer the better. Some who are more on the left would say no, the more the better. But just to wrap up the minimum wage conversation real quick, yeah, of course we all oppose poverty. The minimum wage, if it kept up with inflation since 1968, it would already be $12 an hour today. The minimum wage would be $26 an hour if it kept up with productivity gains, and it would be $61.75 if it rose at the same pace as Wall Street bonuses. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm.
Will do.
Click the bell as well.
Alright guys, that was, I'm not even sure, they didn't even say what that guy's name was. Oh my god. That guy was terrible. He's not got my vote. Please, if you're a libertarian, don't nominate him. Coming from a libertarian, he's just... You want to take away... He wants to take away minimum wage. You realize what that would do? That would allow all these big tech companies and all these billionaires and stuff, any place, small business, big businesses, to treat their employees like crap, pay them whatever they want. 1 cent an hour they could pay them. 1 cent. I don't think it'd be that low, but still. It's just terrible. People would have to be working so much because they wouldn't be making nothing. It's just so terrible, guys. I mean, oh my god. It's just terrible. Don't buy into that. Please don't buy into that. Alright, guys, that was part 2 of this interview with this libertarian candidate that sucks. Yeah, guys, so thank you so much for watching this video. Please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe for more, guys. Alright, guys, thank you so much. Have a nice night, guys. I'm out of here. Bye-bye.